So then guys, it is that time of the year again. It is where I sit down here and try and to predict the 2024-2025 Sky Bet League 2 season. Now, the table prediction is here. I've done in the last couple of weeks a season preview video of all the 24 teams. We know what to expect, or near enough know what to expect from most of the teams from what I've mentioned in terms of the signings, what they've lost, key players, etc, etc. And today I will try and predict all 24 teams in Sky Bet League 2. As you know, on this channel I do this every single year, and the success rate is very, very low. So hopefully, with a bit of luck, I can, get quite a good chunk of them right, basically. I'm hoping to get 5 or 6 correct scores, 5 or 6 are, close by a place or two. And if that does happen, I'll be loving it. So anyway, before we get into the video, before we get into 24th place, make sure to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and I'll speak to you guys after, well, I'll basically get through the table. I don't know what I was going to say there, but see you with 24th place and the first team relegated, in my opinion. So then, 24th and the first team relegated and rock bottom of League 2, I've gone with Morecambe. Now, Morecambe, obviously they brought back Derek Adams back to the club, but I just don't see where Morecambe get enough points to get out of this relegation zone. You look at the struggles they had in pre-season. They had to sign 15 players in one day, I believe it was. They have signed some decent players, don't get me wrong. George Ray at right back, and obviously Adam Lewis, who was at Newport. Left back, they've also got Gwion Edwards in the team as well. Jordan Slew is a decent player. Jan Songo in midfield as well. But I just don't see where Morecambe stay in the league. I just think with the financial problems going on at the moment at the Mazuma Stadium, the Globe Arena, I just really don't see a way where they get out of it. They have made some decent signings, like I mentioned, and they have some decent players in their team, but I just don't think that team is going to be able to gel enough to get Morecambe out of the relegation zone, and that's why I've gone for Morecambe to be relegated in 24th place. 23rd place, I've gone for Bromley. Now, a lot of people have put Bromley to stay up or just about go down. I think they're, I just don't think they're going to stay up this season. I think that, welcome to the Football League and welcome to League 2, Bromley. First time in their history that they are going to be playing in League 2 and in the Football League. But I just think that, yes, they made some good signings. Is it Omar Sawomni, the centre-back that's come in from Sutton? They signed Cameron Congreve on loan from Swansea. They've got, obviously, Michael Cheek, Corey Whiteley there. It's a decent team, but it's just not good enough, in my opinion, to stay in the league. And I do think they're going to go down in 23rd place with Morecambe. And like I said, massive shout out to Bromley for getting promoted. They did obviously get promoted via the playoffs, beating Solihull Moors in the final on penalties. And yeah, fair play to them. Fair play to them. I just don't think there's a way that Bromley stay in this division. But yeah, those are the two teams that I think are going to get relegated this season. In 22nd then, and just surviving relegation, I've gone for Harrogate Town. Now, Harrogate could easily get relegated, in my opinion. I don't think there's much between the bottom two and the 2 or 3 above them, in my opinion. I think that Harrogate are going to be in for a very worrying season. I just think that the way that you look at Harrogate, they've only made 3 or 4 signings. They've lost Rod McDonald, who is a big part of their defence, and they've lost Peter Jameson as well, the goalkeeper. They have lost quite a few players, and Joe Mattock as well, the left back. Also, I know it's only pre-season, but they haven't won a single game in pre-season. Yes, it was 3 draws, I think, or 2 draws. But they didn't win a single game in pre-season. And I look at the Harrogate squad, I fail to really see the sort of quality. I think the main bit of quality probably is Jack Muldoon or Josh March in the attack. But like I said, Harrogate Town definitely strike me as a team that will just about stay up. I've got them in 22nd place. In 21st place, I've gone for Accrington Stanley. Now, I think Accrington Stanley will have enough to stay in the league this year. I just look at the players that they have lost in the summer window. Sean McConville, Rosset, Longhello have both left. Joe Pritchard as well, Toby Savin. Yes, and Kelvin Mellor as well. Yes, they've brought in Michael Kelly from MK Dons and Donald Love and Farron Drawson from Morecambe, who are 3 decent signings. But they've lost Jack Nolan and Tommy Lee, both in the same window, which I think is a massive, massive loss for them. And I just don't think that Accrington... I think they'll stay up, like I mentioned, but I just don't think Accrington have got that quality, really, when you look at their team, to push on beyond the bottom half of the table. And those 2 players that they've lost in Jack Nolan and Tommy Lee are big, big losses to them. I just fail to see where the incredible amount of quality comes from this Accrington side. Look, if they go and turn it around and exceed my expectations, fair enough. But I do think Accrington will finish in 21st. So then in 20th place, I have gone for Grimsby Town, the Mariners. Now I look at what Grimsby have done in this window and what they already had at their disposal. They've lost some very, very key players. Harry Clifton has gone to Doncaster. Obviously, we've got Anthony Glennon. Gavan Houlihan has gone. They've lost Otis Khan as well, and Abo Isha, who's gone to Thailand. There's some very good players that have left Grimsby in the summer. However, I do think with the signings of Jordan Wright from Lincoln, Tyrell Warren from Barrow, George McEachran from Swindon and Lewis Cass from Port Vale, already with Danny Rose, who will bag goals for Grimsby this year, I do think they'll stay up. Like I said, I don't think Grimsby will be in trouble of relegation, despite being a few places above the relegation zone, but it will be interesting to see what happens with David Artell at the helm. But yeah, I've gone for 20th place for Grimsby. 19th place then, I've gone with Tranmere Rovers. I look at Tranmere Rovers last season, they were, bottom end of the table, and I look at their sort of incomings. I don't think Tranmere will be anywhere near relegation, and 19th place could turn out to be an absolute shambles from me, and they could finish a lot higher. Nigel Atkins, of course, very experienced manager, throughout his career. The signings they've made, Cameron Norman's come in, Josh Davison from, obviously, AFC Wimbledon, Amari Patrick, who's a bagsman, to play alongside Christian Dennis, who previously played together at Carlisle. And most importantly, they've kept Connor Jennings. Yes, they've lost Charlie Jolly, he's gone, Paul Lewis has gone as well. But they have kept Connor Jennings, who bagged a lot of goals for them last season. The attacking options of Dennis, Davison, Jennings, Norris, Patrick, with even Harvey Saunders to potentially pop in a few goals here or there, I think Tranmere will be fine in terms of a relegation battle. I just look at that midfield and the defence. Obviously, they signed Declan Drysdale from us. I just worry about his fitness throughout a 46-game season, but I think Tranmere will finish in 19th place. 18th place then, I have gone for Salford City. Now, a lot of people will be looking at this thinking, what the hell are you thinking? Salford City, the players they've signed are an absolute joke for this league, and they are an absolute joke for this league. Don't get me wrong. They've got the money, the class of 92. Carl Robinson's a decent manager, but I just look at what Salford have been since they've been in the Football League. The near men, they've never really kicked on. They've never got over the line, even though on paper they've probably got one of the best squads in the league and probably got one of the best budgets in the league. And probably would match a lot of teams in League One as well. The signings, Cole Stockton coming in from Burton, Bagsman, Ben Woodburn coming in from Preston in the Championship. I mean, do I need to say much more? Tom Edwards from Stoke. The players that they've brought in are ridiculous. Yes, Alex Cairns has gone to Leeds, Callum Hendry has gone to MK Dons, but I look at what they've lost. Okay, Mariappa's decent, but getting on. Elliot Watt and Theo Vassell are good, but really they've brought in Cole Stockton and Ben Woodburn, so the quality probably evens itself out. I think Salford are just going to keep underwhelming in League Two, and that's why I've put them in 18th place. So then, for 17th place, I've gone for Matt Sadler's Walsall. Now, Walsall finished, I think it was 11th or 12th last year, if I remember rightly, and they have basically strengthened their team, but not at the same time. They've lost Isaac Hutchinson, who has gone to Bristol Rovers, and Jackson Smith, who has gone to Barnsley. However, Josh Gordon from Burton is a good signing. Charlie Lakin from Burton is a good signing. Albert Adoma from QPR. Is that a good signing, or is that a big name? Let me know in the comments. But I don't know with Walsall. I still look at Walsall as a team that are trying to transition away from the old guards to bring the new guard in, whilst trying to keep the quality there. They've still got, obviously, the likes of Priestley Farquharson at the back. They've still got the likes of Brandon Comley, Ryan Stirk, Danny Johnson, Jamil Matt. There's still players in that team that can make Walsall tick. And obviously they lost the goalkeeper, didn't they? Owen Evans, which they've brought the young guy Tommy Simkin on loan from Stoke, and Sam Hornby from Colchester. It's going to be interesting to see what Walsall do this season, but I do think it's just going to be a lower end mid-table for the Saddlers, unfortunately. But I just think they're in a change of guard at the moment, as the old guard are coming out and the new guard are coming in. In 16th place, I've gone with the team that Newport start their League 2 campaign against on Saturday, and that is Cheltenham Town. Michael Flynn's Cheltenham, now relegated from League 1 last year, failed to score in the first 8 or 9 games, and the signings they've made, it's weird, in my opinion, because they've gone for the mix between players that Flynn knows, old players and youth players. Arkell Jude Boyd is a great signing, and so is Harry Pell. Owen Evans is decent. Harry Sonia from Sunderland is decent. But then they've bought Ryan Bennett, Scott Bennett, Ryan Haynes, Joe Day. These players that are Ryan Bowman as well. I just don't think these players are the ones to push you on. I think these are holding Cheltenham back a little bit. In terms of like the players they lost, they didn't really... Okay, Liam Serkin went to Forest Green. He's been a good servant for Cheltenham for a long time. Will Ferry is decent. He's gone to Dundee. They've lost Luke Southwood as well, who's gone up a league. So they have lost players. Obviously, Curtis Davis retired. Josh Harrop, former Man United player. Daniel Adshed is a decent player as well. But I just think that there's a reason why they don't look promising as much going into the new season, but I'm going to put them in 16th place. I don't think they'll be relegated fodder at all. I think lower end mid-table for Cheltenham. So then in 15th place, I've gone for my boys Newport County. Now, I'm not going to be one of those fans that are going to put us to get relegated or promotion. Look, if we do get playoffs or promotion, we do. If we get relegated, we do. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I've gone 15th. Just because I think mid-table for us would literally be perfect. We've got to look at where we are and where we are in this process. We've lost, obviously, Will Evans, which was recorded yesterday on the channel. Big loss. As much as people want to say, we can't rely on Will, or, it's not all about Will Evans, it is still a big loss. 25 goals last season, 21 in the league, is still a big, big loss. Yes, we've brought in players of decent calibre in terms of Courtney Baker-Richardson, Bobby Camwa, Michael Spellman's a decent sign, and Anthony Glennon is a great left back. I do worry throughout the season. Obviously, we need a striker in, which is desperate. We desperately need a striker to come through the door after Will Evans leaving. But 15th place, look, with everything going on with the new ownership and all this over the summer or to the back end of last season to the summer, it's about just staying in this league. If we can keep producing these good players and then sell them on and develop on the pitch at the same time, I'm all for it. I'm going to go 15th. I don't want people slating me in the comments, but yeah, 15th place for Newport County. So then in 14th place, I've gone for Barrow. Now, Barrow were very, very close to producing something special last season and getting promoted out of League 2, not to out of League 1, out of League 2 into League 1. And that was mainly down to the incredible management of Pete Wild. I think Pete Wild was an incredible manager last year, kept those players level-headed. And I'll look at the Barrow team, and without Pete Wild, I do think there is going to be a drop-off. And the managers ain't always the be-all and end-all, but I do think as good as what Pete Wild is, he was a massive impact. Yes, they've signed well. I think they've brought in some very decent players in terms of Chris Stokes, Connor Mahoney, or Connor Maney, or however you pronounce it. Them coming in. Ben Jackson as well, Theo Vassell. There are some decent signings there, and they've obviously kept some players like Dom Telford, keeping him. If he can, score goals for them, they've obviously got in midfield Kian Spence, Elliot Newby. They're a decent side, Barrow. They won't get relegated. They'll probably be mid-table again. I've gone for 14th place. With Pete Wild, we could have had a potentially different story. So then 13th place, before we start getting into the top half, I've gone for AFC Wimbledon. Johnny Jackson's AFC Wimbledon. Now, I feel actually quite bad putting them in 13th place because I do think this squad could get better. They've signed some very good players. Mars Hippolyte from Stockport. They've signed Joe O'Toole from Mansfield, Matty Stevens from Forest Green, Lewis Ward in goal from Charlton. They have signed well, and they've not really lost that too much. Yes, Josh Davison has gone, Jack Curry's gone, Joe Piggott, you could probably say, is decent as well, and Ronan Curtis, but they've still got some very, very good players in their team, and I just think if Matty Stevens can grab the goals for them this season, obviously that's going to put them in good stead. Matty Stevens is a great striker, despite obviously relegated with Forest Green, very good striker. Has been there and done it in this sort of level, and I do think that they could do something special, Wimbledon. I've gone 13th just to sit on the fence with it, basically, and I know I could get splinters, metaphorically, for that, but 13th place, I've gone for AFC Wimbledon. In 12th place, then, I've gone for Swindon Town. Now, a lot of people actually watch my channel that are Swindon fans. I know quite a few Swindon mates as well, and loads of them, pretty much all of them, are confident for the season, confident that, Swindon can do something. I look at the manager, Mark Kennedy, I think he's a decent coach, and then I look at the signings and the squad. Harry Smith coming in, Ollie Clark, by the way, what a signing that is for Swindon Town. Ollie Clark coming in, Grant Hall and Will Wright as the centre-backs coming in, as well as, obviously, Ryan Delaney from us. I just worry about the issues financially and with the hierarchy of the football club. Now, Swindon fans could probably let me know more detail, basically, about what is going on off the pitch. But I'd say without the financial constraints or, owner issues, Swindon could be top 7, top 4, top 3 even, and even get automatically promoted. I just worry about their off-field antics and how that could affect their season in the long run. Look, it's a very good team. It's a very quality team with, depth in areas. Like I mentioned, centre-back, Will Wright, Grant Hall, Ryan Delaney can all play there. It's going to be interesting. It is going to be interesting. I've got them 12th, but they could challenge the top 7, but just because of the owner issues, I've put them in 12th. In 11th place is going to be a shock for a lot of people. I've gone for Colchester United. Now, a lot of people will be like, what the bloody hell is he doing? But first of all, Nick Cowley and Danny Cowley, wow, incredible. The teams that they've managed, Lincoln, Portsmouth, didn't really go too good at Portsmouth, but the job they've done at Lincoln, etc., very good managers. Obviously, mainly down to Danny Cowley, but I do think there's going to be that new look of Colchester. The signings they've made, Jack Payne coming in from Charlton, Lyle Taylor's a good striker, and then you look at Rob Hunt coming in, Matt Macy in goal, Harry Anderson from Stevenage. There's some very, very good players in this Colchester team, and yes, they've lost a few players in terms of John Akinde. Yes, he's dropped down to non-league. Cameron McGeehan is a good player, but I look at their squad and I look at their options. They've got, like I said, they've got Tavide, they've got Connor Wilkinson, Lyle Taylor, Harry Anderson to potentially play out wide or up front, Jack Payne, Matt J, Alfie Bendel, who've signed from Forest Green, I believe. There's good players in this team, very good players in this team, and I look at the team as a team that could potentially push on and maybe in the next few years challenge for the playoffs, because they were in the playoffs, I think the lockdown season, wasn't it, or the season before that, where they lost to Exeter. And yeah, 11th place for Colchester. It is a rebuild, and I think potentially next season, not this season, but potentially next season, a playoff push could happen for Colchester United. I'm going to go 11th. I just think that they're nearly there, but not quite there yet. In 10th place then, I have gone for Fleetwood. Fleetwood obviously relegated from League One last season under Charlie Adam, and I look at what they've done in this window, and I'm not looking at it in terms of, oh my God, what? That is incredible. But I'm looking at where they needed to strengthen and what they've done to do that. Now, they've loaned in a few players from Waterford, Carnarvon and Tamworth, but the couple of signings that I really like are Elliot Bonds, the midfield, Matty Virtue and Zek Medley. I think those 3 signings for Fleetwood are the type of calibre of players they want. They've all, 2 have left League One teams, and one has come from the Belgian league, but obviously Zach Medley used to be at Arsenal. In terms of who's already at the club, you know, they haven't got a massive squad, but they've got some decent players in their squad already that could potentially do something for them. Ryan Broom is a good midfielder, or can play, you know, out wide or whatever. Danny May is a good midfielder as well, was previously at Bury and Plymouth, I believe. Like I said, I don't think Charlie Adam can get this team promoted yet. I do think this one is going to be a bit of a rebuild at Fleetwood. Maybe mid-table this year, just miss out on the playoffs. Next year, maybe get the playoffs or automatics. I just worry about what happened, obviously, with the chairman. The chairman got jailed for fraud. I think his son is taking charge of business at the moment, and can that sort of behind the issue, same as Swindon, can that take a toll on the players and on the squad? It'd be interesting to see what happens at Highbury, but yeah, I've gone for Fleetwood to finish in 10th. So then we're getting down to the last two teams that I think are going to miss out on the playoffs, and the first of those two teams is 9th place, and I've gone for Gillingham, the Gills. I look at what Gillingham have done. Elliot Nevitt, what a signing Elliot Nevitt is. Jack Nolan, great signing again. Aaron Rowe, Amani Little. There's some very, very good signings in there. Yes, they've lost Scott Malone to League One Crawley, and they've lost Dom Jeffries to League One Lincoln. But they've also brought in they've also got Jacob Wakelin on loan from Peterborough until the end of the season. Ashley Nadesan has gone, but a lot of people didn't really, well, till the end of the season, a lot Gillingham fans didn't really think Nadesan was that good. And then I look at the manager, Mark Bonner. What an incredible manager for EFL level. You know, Cambridge, he'd done it. And obviously now he's Gillingham manager. I think that this could be the year that they do get the playoffs. I've got them in 9th, but I do think that they could interchange with the top 7 and the team that I've put above them. But yeah, I've gone for Gillingham in 9th. Again, another respectable campaign and potentially promotion under Mark Bonner. So then, who have I got to miss out on the top 7? You know, some big names still left in here, and I've gone for Crewe Alexandra. I think I look at their team, the amount of experience they still have at the team is incredible. I think that's one of the main things I look at this Crewe team. They've still got Mickey Dimitri at the back. They obviously signed Omar Bogle from us. They've signed Jack Langster from Cambridge. James Connolly has come in from Bristol Rovers. Yes, they've lost Rio Adebisi, but again, they've still brought players in. I look at the players they've left or has been released. Elliot Nevitt, Luke Offord, and Courtney Baker-Richardson, big losses, but I still look at that team and look at the options. Demetrio, Chris Long, Shiloh Tracy's a decent player, Kane Hemmings, and then you look at the younger players, Lewis Billington, those type of players. I think it's a mixed team, this one, Crewe, a mix of experience and sort of the younger heads, and I think that they kept the main players. Mickey Dimitri stayed, you know, players like that probably could have left if offers came up for them, and they did lose the playoff final, didn't they, to Crawley, so they can show they can show that they can push on and reach the playoffs, and you know, be interesting to see what they do this season. But yeah, I've gone for 8th for Crewe Alexandra. So then in 7th place and the lowest rated or lowest ranked playoff team, I've gone with the Bantams, Bradford City. Now, how many times have people said Bradford to win the league, Bradford to do this, Bradford to do that? And I just look at where Bradford City are in their progression. I think they're slowly getting to the team that everyone wants to obviously predict them at. They've got a massive support. The squad is good. Obviously, Graham Alexander's a good manager, not an amazing manager for this league, but a good manager. Aidan Baldwin has come in, Callum Johnson, Anthony Sarkovic, Tariq Wright, Neil Byrne, all coming in from very good teams from Stockport, Mansfield, Notts County and Plymouth Argyle. And they've already got some very good players at the club already. Obviously, we know Andy Cook, Callum Kavanagh, Alex Gilliard, Alex Patterson. There are incredible players in this Bradford City team, and that's why I've gone for Bradford to finish in 7th. I think, could they win the playoffs? I'm not too sure. It all depends what happens in the playoffs leading up to it, etc., etc. But I do think Bradford will finish in 7th place. So then in 6th place and the second of the 4 playoffs teams, I've gone for another recent relegated team in Port Vale. Now, I look at Port Vale's business. George Byers has come in, Ben Hennigan has come in, Connor Hall, Ronan Curtis, Ben Amos, and then the main one, Jayden Stockley. I mean, the main thing you want in this league is a man that can score 15, 20 goals. Jayden Stockley, for me, is 100% that guy. I think Stockley could score 15, 20 goals for them this year. The players they've lost, Lewis Cass has gone. Uche Ikpeatsu, James Wilson has gone. But apart from that, they've still got some very good players in their team already. Tom Sang, Connor Ripley, Ben Garrity in midfield's a player I like a lot. And Ethan Chislett. But Ben Amos, I mean, what a coup that is, what Ben Amos has done in his career. But like I said, I've gone 6th place for Port Vale. I don't know what other people are going to put Port Vale as, but I think they are definitely a strong side this year, and I think they're going to finish inside those top 7. So then the penultimate team in the playoffs is another team that I would say underwhelmed last year, but they were recently promoted team, and that is Notts County. They started last season very strong, Notts County. A lot of people thought it was them and Wrexham to go back to back, and it was looking like that was the case at certain points. Obviously, the signings they've made for a League Two team is incredible. They brought in Robbie Cundy from Barnsley, Kellen Gordon and Nick Sorola from Crawley Town, who have been promoted, but they'd prefer to come down to League Two to play for Notts County. Jacob Bedew at the back, Rod McDonald, Alex Bass, as I mentioned, Jack Hinchy from Brighton. It's a good team. However, Macaulay Langstaff has gone, which is, look, like I said with Will Evans, for us, it's a big, big loss, and it's a lot of goals for them, but they've still got Jody Jones. They've still got, players who can score goals for them. They've still got these players in the squad, and don't get me wrong, you look at the squad, David McGoldrick as well, and there are players that can still score goals, but it is obviously an annoyance to lose Macaulay Langstaff. But as soon as championship interest comes for Macaulay Langstaff, there's no way he's staying, and yeah, I've got Notts County to finish in 5th. So then the last playoff team I've gone for is the Cumbrians, isn't it? Carlisle United, Paul Simpson's Carlisle from Brunton Park. I've got them to finish in 4th. Obviously, they got relegated last season from League One, bottom of the league. Incredibly bad season from Carlisle United at the 3rd tier, and I think that they're just too good, or not too good for League Two, but they're definitely one of the best 5-6 teams in League Two, and probably one of the worst 5 or 6 teams if they get promoted to League One. So I think Carlisle may be in a bit of a yo-yo few seasons, which obviously Carlisle fans will not want. One season of jubilation and then the next of disappointment. But Charlie White's an incredibly good signing. Aaron Hayden from Wrexham, Ethan Robson from MK Dons. And yeah, they have got some players in their team that can definitely cause a lot of worry, and the squad is good. The squad is good. They have got, like I said, the signings they've made and the players that were already there are some very good players. John Mellish, Josh Vell is a decent player. Harrison Neal, Callum Guy, Harry Lewis in between the sticks. It's a very good squad. Chris Welch, if you're watching, you'll be loving that. But I think Carlisle will finish in 4th place. Let's have a look at those top 3 places and see who I think is going to get promoted as a top 3, because I don't want to banter myself at the end of the season. But let's have a look at my top 3 predictions. So then, the first of the 3 promoted teams automatically in my prediction, in my opinion, is Doncaster Rovers. Now, I look at Doncaster, and Grant McCann is a great manager. Think what you want of him from previous stints at previous clubs, but basically, he'll get the job done. A lot of people won't like him. People will like him. There'll be a divide. But the signings that him and his team have made, Billy Sharp is a great signing. Yes, he's getting on, and I don't know the exact age, but yes, he is getting on, but he will bag goals in this league. League Two for Billy Sharp is going to be very frightening. Joe Sabara coming in from Solihull Moors. A lot of teams wanted him over the summer. Jordan Gibson coming in from relegated Carlisle. Harry Clifton coming in from a poor Grimsby team and probably was the standout player in that team. They've lost, obviously, Tommy Rowe. They've lost Harrison Biggins as well, John Taylor. But I look at the squad and there is quality all over the pitch as well. And I look at the players that he's still got at the club. Jack Senior's decent, Joey Ironside's decent, Zane Westbrook's decent, George Broadbent, Luke Molyneux, Oluwu at the back, Tom Anderson at the back as well, Jamie Sterry. It's a very, very good team. I've got them third. I've got them automatically promoted. Let's have a look at second place. Second place and runner-up for the 2024-2025 League 2 season. I've gone with Chesterfield. Now, a lot of people will be thinking, what? But this team is brilliant. What they've built in, or what they had in the National League, was way too good for that league anyway last year. And they've added Che Dunkley at the back, Lewis Gordon, Paddy Madden, for Christ's sake. You know, what an incredible player he is. They brought in Davon Tanton, the Colombian, on loan from Fulham until the end of the season. Yes, they've lost a few players, but they've still got a very, very good squad. Ryan Boot in goals. They've also got, like I said, Che Dunkley at the back. Ollie Banks in midfield as well. Tom Naylor is there. Ryan Cocklow, Amande Dobra, Will Grigg, Joe Quigley. It's a very, very good League 2 team. And like I said, I think they're going to do National League promotion, League 2 promotion, just like Wrexham did, just like quite a lot of teams have done in recent form, you know, because they're too good for the National League, and then they're on that bounce going into the new season, and a lot of teams, or quite a few teams, do that double promotion. And I'm going to say it, I think that Chesterfield are going to do it. Paul Cook, by the way, probably the best manager in the league. I'm going to put that out there right now. Paul Cook, the best manager in the league, maybe second place or just above the person that is managing first place in my predictions. But second place in my predictions is Chesterfield. So then, my 2024-2025 Sky Bet League 2 champions, in my opinion, MK Dons. Now, look, MK Dons are a ridiculous team. A ridiculous team, stacked with quality, stacked with incredible talent, incredible experience. And I look at what they've got at their disposal. Mike Williamson, as I mentioned in the previous clip about Paul Cook, Mike Williamson probably is up there with one of the best managers in the league. The signings that they've made into their ridiculously stacked squad already. Tommy Lee's come in, Lawrence Maguire's come in, Luke Offord, Joe Pritchard, Sam Sherrin, Tom Carroll, Callum Hendry coming in to replace the outgoing Max Dean. Yes, they've lost Max Dean. It's a big loss, but at the end of the day, they've still got players that are in the squad that can easily, not easily, but easily, quite comfortably match what he was. You look at the team, Alex Gilby's there, Joe Tomlinson, Connor Grant is a good player, Matt Dennis as well was good for them last year. Obviously, Lawrence Maguire, as I mentioned, is a good signing coming in. Jonathan Lecco's decent. Dean Lewington's still there. Matt Giveaway. Look, it's an incredible team. I've got MK Dons to win League 2. I just think the quality is there. And yeah, I think MK Dons will win League 2 in my prediction and in my opinion. So there we are. Those are my 2024-2025 Sky Bet League 2 predictions. Obviously, they could be wrong come the end of the season. And knowing my track record, they probably are all wrong. But that is the beauty of pre-season, the beauty of predicting the league. Who knows what's going to happen through an enthralling thrilling League 2 season ahead. I will be doing as much content as I can for not just Newport, but also other League 2 type content as well. Please make sure to smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. We are on the road to 3,400 subscribers, just a few subscribers short of that at the moment. And make sure to comment your predictions down below. You don't have to put your whole 1 to 24 in the comments, but you know, if you do want to do that, then fair enough. But if not, just put your team or where you think a few teams will finish, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, and here is to potentially a very successful prediction from me. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.